Hello, everybody. So, for those I know a lot of you. I don't know some of you. For those I don't know, my name is Curtis Lockhart. I'm executive director of the Charter Cities Institute. As I said, so Mark and I, we were here in Fumba in Zanzibar for the very first time. This was February of 2023, and at least one member of CCI has basically been running around Fumba essentially since that time last year. And so the first thing I wanted to say, just starting off, is we have felt nothing but hospitality and graciousness and open arms and welcomeness from the entire Fumba community for the many months that we've been running around Fumba and Zanzibar. So the first thing I want to say is thank you so much to the Fumba community. It's been truly awesome over these several months. And then the second thing, I realized this crystallized maybe 2-3 months ago. And is Mohammed here? Mohammed is here. Okay, so I think this was a chat with Mohammed 2 or 3 months ago at, I believe it was a party or something. And he came up to me and he said, Curtis, what is CCI doing here? What do you guys do? And I was like, Mohammed, I've known you for a while. You come to so many parties. How do you not know what we do? And so these ZED Talks, Mark's and the one I'm about to give, is an effort to answer Mohammed's questions, because if Mohammed's got the question, I'm sure several other community members do as well. So Mark just went over the high-level motivation, the why behind CCI's work that motivates all of our activities. I'm going to focus my talk on the what. So what specific activities are myself and the team, who I think is over there, but I cannot see because of this light, what are we up to here in Fumba? And then, as Mark said, we're going to have a Q&A session after that. So just to start, the vision, it's always good to start with the vision. It's pretty simple. Along with CPS, we want to help create a modern city with a world-class business environment and livable, inclusive communities. Pretty simple. Basically, we want to transform Fumba town into Fumba city here on the peninsula. And that's great, simple enough vision. Okay, what is CCI? What are our activities to contribute to this vision? And as Steve Jobs tells us, when you say things in threes, people remember it more. So I've distilled this into 3 Ps here. So we work on policy, we work on private sector attraction, and we work on people. At the end of the day, cities are not about buildings or infrastructure. They're about the people that live there and the connections between them. So I'll go over specific activities under each of these. So under the policy umbrella, CCI, we work with several government actors, and especially we're working with ZIPA at the moment, so the Zanzibar Investment Promotion Authority. We're working to improve the legal and regulatory framework for free zones. So Fumba is located in a free zone. This is one of them. There are other zones across Zanzibar. And then we're also working on improving the broader investment climate in and around Zanzibar. And this work really came out of a challenge that ZIPA had communicated to us, and I'm sure communicated to others. And for those around, you've probably seen headlines like this. There's a lot of investor interest in different projects across Zanzibar. This one says, 700 investment projects. This one in the Citizen says 300 investment projects this year in 2023. And this is great, right? This indicates there's a lot of interest, there's a lot of buzz, there's a lot of momentum that ZIPA has, and that's fantastic. That's a good problem to have. The challenge they communicated is they're having difficulties converting that interest into actual tangible investments that are channeled into actual firms here in Zanzibar and actual things getting built in the archipelago. To help out with that challenge, our team, CCI, is we were contracted by ZIPA to co-draft ZIPA's strategic plan. So this is the document that'll guide ZIPA's investment strategy for the next 6 years from now until 2030. We started doing this work in March, and Tommy wrapped up the first draft tonight, I think. So well done, Tommy. And then we'll go back and forth for some feedback, and the final thing will be done, submitted by the end of next month. So this is the strategic plan. That's sort of policy formulation work. Anybody in policy work knows that if you leave it at that, policy documents tend to collect dust on a shelf somewhere. You need to, I think, quickly transition to policy implementation. So the next step is to do just that, and we think one of the highest leverage, highest impact priorities in policy implementation is focusing on setting up a functioning and efficient one-stop shop. Any entrepreneurs or folks who run a business on the island know it can oftentimes be difficult. You have to go to TRA to get a TIN, or you have to go to BPRA to get a certificate of incorporation, or the Environment Agency to get an environmental review. It's 2024, so it's very easy to have all of this under one roof, and that's what we'll be working on. So that's policy. Second P, private sector attraction. I think the analogy that is good here is, so this is a shopping mall. This is a layout of kind of a typical shopping mall. I'm pretty sure it's American because Target is a American chain store. Shopping malls, the first thing a shopping developer wants to do is pinpoint and identify really high quality anchor tenants, like a Target, or if you're in Europe, I don't know, an IKEA or a Zanfresh or a Carrefour. Any tenant firm that is popular, is big, and can drive foot traffic, because then that de-risks all these other smaller mom and pop shops to come in, because they get to take advantage of the foot traffic generated by the anchor tenant. So there's an analogous situation to new city developers like CPS and others building new towns like Fumba. You attract a high quality anchor tenant, and that raises demand for a bunch of other services and amenities, so other firms are crowded in. So the question is, how are we doing on anchor tenant attraction? I think we're doing pretty darn good. So I'm going to go into two examples of some pretty amazing anchor tenants that are here on the peninsula. So if you're here for Zanzalu, I think most of us went to the Indian Institute of Technology a couple of weeks back with Vitalik Buterin, who spoke to the students there. For those of you who don't know, IIT Madras, they've opened a campus not 5 minutes drive away from Fumba town. All of the professors, all of the staff live here in Fumba. Is anyone from IIT here tonight? They are here. Okay. Hi, guys. Welcome. So they're basically, and they'll probably attest to this, the MIT of India. These are some of the brightest students in a country of 1.4 billion people here on the peninsula. And a lot of the staff and profs are living here in Fumba. So this is fantastic, and I'm glad you guys are here. But wait, there's more. We also attracted another world-class university called the African School of Economics. So most of you know the guy on the left. This is Sebastian, CEO of CPS. You probably don't know the guy on the right. So this is Professor Leonard Wanchikon. Leonard is a world-renowned economist. He's at Princeton University, so this is an Ivy League university in the US. Just as a side note, Leonard is kind of a personal hero of mine, not only for his work as a development economist, but he's got the most insane personal story. I can't cover all of it because it is way too crazy, but basically he was a boy born in a rural village in Benin. He got into political activism at a young age. He was then imprisoned. He was a political prisoner under the Kriku regime in Benin for 18 months. He was in prison. Somehow at 18 months, he talked his way out of prison. I don't know how the hell he did that. Managed to escape across the border to Nigeria. Fast forward, he ultimately became a refugee in Canada, where he pursued graduate school and then did his PhD in the US and got a professorship at Yale University outside of his PhD. So he basically went from a political prisoner to a Yale professor in 5 years, which is just absolutely insane to me. So Leonard is, well, that's an impressive story. What I think his most lasting legacy will be is his work as founder and president of the African School of Economics. So just a little bit about ASE. So ASE, Leonard founded it in 2014 in his home country of Benin. It was really successful in Benin. And then a couple years later, he expanded to Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire. And then 2 more campuses opened up last year in Nigeria, one in Abuja, and then one in Lagos. And they're speaking with several other state governors in Nigeria to expand elsewhere. So they've got a pretty fantastic footing in West Africa. But Leonard being Leonard, he's got Pan-African ambitions. He's got a Pan-African vision. And so when Mark and I came here to Fumba on this very stage last February, I knew Leonard was looking for sites in East Africa. And so after our time in Fumba, sent him an email. I said, Leonard, I think I found your site location. A few months later, he flew in, he talked to Sebastian, that's where that picture came from. He also talked to the Minister of Education here in Zanzibar. Obviously, she was very enthused to have a high quality university coming here. And the rest is history. 7 or 8 months later, we officially got the certificate of incorporation for ASE Zanzibar to come here in Fumba town, which is really, really amazing news. Why is it amazing news? Several reasons. I'm just going to go over the track record of this institution. It doesn't have the long history of IIT, so they've got a pretty stellar record as well. But in its short 10 years, the graduates of ASE, that 40 number is old. I think it's over 50 now. Graduates have gone on to R1 PhD programs. We're talking Harvard, we're talking Princeton, we're talking NYU. And if they weren't an academic and they wanted a private sector, non-academic job, the placement record is also stellar. Over 75% of ASE graduates go on to top tier private sector firms like MTN. They go on to top policy works like with the World Bank and IMF, UNDP, or some of them have gone on to become advisors in the offices of prime ministers and presidents across the continent. So just a phenomenal track record. So it's coming here. There's Fumba. ASE will be somewhere here. Super exciting on the anchor tenant front. And then, so finally, the last P, and I think most importantly, right, people, as I said, cities are more than just buildings. They're more than just infrastructure. At the end of the day, it is about, as Mark said, the talent that's clustered here, the dynamism of the people. Cities are about connection, enabling people to come together, cooperate and collaborate to accomplish amazing things. So it is about the people. Here are some of those people. I clearly wasn't invited to that birthday party. This is Salesh, and then Ali helping out Mulimu. So there we go. So on this front, what are we working on? We're working mainly on this front on lowering the price point for housing. So we're in the preliminary stages of some research, and this is in conjunction with CPS on different affordable housing scheme options. Here are some different options here that we're looking at that have been tried across the continent. Again, I won't go into this, but the whole point of being in a zone, as we are here in Fumba Town, is so that you can test and then you can iterate on different policy solutions, and you can figure out what works on a small scale here in Fumba, and then scale those up. And we have an awesome partner in CPS who's willing to do just this, and so we're excited to get to work. So those are the 3 Ps. Hopefully, Mohammed, I answered your question, and hopefully I answered the question of others. So thank you very much.